What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I'm going to show you how to throw a forehand like Big Jerm. Big Jerm has been all these forehand tier lists, in the S tier, in the top tier. Again, he's not the greatest player, but the reason he's in the S tier is because he asks so much of his forehand, and without that forehand, he wouldn't be a top tier player, he wouldn't be a touring pro, and he wouldn't be able to do all the amazing shots that he does. Big Jerm has a bit of a unique style because he's not afraid to throw more understable discs or less stable discs than a lot of other players are forehanding. Nate Sexton's forehanding Firebirds and X-Cals, as to where Big Jerm is forehanding like Eagles and Wraiths. He's famous for having that little bit of hyzer release, getting it to hyzer flip, getting the turnovers. He can throw a hyzer flip that turns and finishes left. He can throw a hyzer flip that goes straight and goes right. He can throw one that stays on hyzer all the way. The dude has all the angles, and that's the next thing I want to talk about is the angle of release. With a less stable disc, it's going to have more hyzer on it. So I have 3 Wraiths here. This is the least stable, or the most understable of the 3 is my beat up Glow Wraith. I don't forehand this disc personally, but for the sake of the video, if I want to imitate Big Jerm, I got to do it the way Big Jerm does it. I'm going to have to put this out with a lot of hyzer, and it's going to probably turn over and then continue on fading left. We're contending with a bit of a headwind, which will emphasize the hyzer flip as well. And then I have the blue one, which is pretty stable and can handle my backhand in most conditions. And then the green one is the most overstable. As far as the grip goes, we have 3 options. We can do any of the 3 grips. I'm sure Big Jerm can do all 3 grips as well, being the forehand player that he is. The first grip is the grip that I use the most, is the split grip. This gives you the least power and the most control. I don't have power problems with my forehand. I don't find myself coming up very short, so I just want to go for the most control. The stack grip gets you a little bit more power, a little bit less control, but still very controlled. The power grip gives you the most torque, the most spin on the disc, the least control, but you're going to get the most distance out of this power grip as long as it feels comfortable for you. My advice, if you're not very proficient in forehand, or even if you are, just continue doing the grip that's the most comfortable as long as it's one of those 3. But if you're rocking one finger or you're throwing some sort of crazy thing, just like pick which one feels the best. I prefer the split. And again, people think that that's wrong, but I mean, it's a legitimate grip that works for me, so that's just what I do because it's comfortable. With that being said, it's also going to help with these hyzer flips as well, because I can really control the angle of the disc, having my finger under there to help me out. So we're going to chuck a couple of discs out in the field here. Again, we have a headwind, but with Big Jerm, we want to stand up a little bit taller than we would like a Nate Sexton's down here, trying to throw those flexes over the top of the disc like this. Big Jerm's kind of more like he's up nice and tall in a little bit less athletic of a position, and he's really just manipulating the angles to get the flight that he wants. So we're gonna go up, we're gonna throw a few. Let's see if we can't throw a couple Big Jerm lines. So that's really nice. Flexed up, turned over, and it's actually fading out. So that's pretty decent distance, full flex on that one. We're gonna go with the blue Wraith, which is a bit more stable than that one. Keep that chest up nice and tall, little pro hop and a chuck. Same thing, slight hyzer release, turns over, fades out at the end. And then the last one's a bit more overstable than the blue one. So I'm gonna throw it a little bit more flat, knowing that I want it to turn a little bit to really emphasize the Big Jerm action. So we can really see that one turn over a bit more and really flex out. So we threw 3 very different discs on that shot, and we yielded very similar results. And all we did was control the angles. The less stable disc had more hyzer, blue one had a little bit less hyzer, green one had almost no hyzer, and we still get that nice flex. And that's what Big Jerm does better than anybody, understanding how his discs are going to be affected by the angle of release, the amount of power on the release, and the grip he's using at the time. If you have any other questions about Big Jerm's forehand, leave it in the comment section down below, or just comment on if you think it's a good shot. Thank you for watching. This is Iceberg TV, and take care.